in Woonsocket. This is ON AM and FM.
WOON, Woonsocket.
And currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, we have 46.6 cloudy, drizzly degrees. Good morning, and thank you for joining us in the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. I'm Kevin Callahan, and as always, joined by my co-host Patrick Holland. And Pat, I got to throw out the congratulations. I saw on April 1st you got a new gig at ESPN The Ocho. Congratulations!
Yeah.
Covered some dodgeball.
I think my first event's going to be the Pogo Stick World Championship.
Pogo Stick, excellent.
And then right into the hobby horse.
Beautiful.
So I'm excited.
The hobby horse like a real thing now. Oh my
I did get quite a few people congratulating me, and
I fell for it for a second.
Yeah,
April 4th. I'm like, what?
I'm good.
Like,
I'm good.
The Ocho.
I'm good like that.
Yeah. So okay. All right. So today in the Cheap Seats, as always, we're going to go around, Rhode Island, New England, a little bit beyond for a recap of all things local. After the first break, Pat had a chance to go one-on-one with our Bryant University Associate Athletic Director, Tristan Hobbs, to discuss Bryant University's new hire for men's basketball coach. Later in the show, we're going to open it up to you, this, basically from 9:30 on, probably, discuss the start of your Boston Red Sox season. It's already been a roller coaster to start for the Sox, capped by yesterday's home opener, 13-9 victory over the St. Louis Cardinals. So let's just jump right in. Congratulations to Cumberland's own Nick Fine, a junior at Columbia University, was the only Rhode Islander to get to Philadelphia to wrestle in the NCAA championships this year. He was a Rhode Island State champion at Hendricken. His father wrestled at Cornell. He went 1-2 as a junior in the championships. He was also a wrestler of the week in the Ivy League back in November. He's wrestling in the 184-pound weight class, and he actually pinned somebody from Iowa State. And to be honest, I don't know much about wrestling. Greg from Connecticut called in last week with wrestling, and those people out in the Midwest, they're the real deal. So the fact that he got a win over somebody from Iowa, congratulations to Nick Fine, just a junior at Columbia.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. I'm not a wrestler either, but unless you're coming off the top turnbuckle,
exactly,
Jimmy Snuka style, right? RIFC off to a 0-2-1 start. They'll have a road game today as they traveled to Oakland, California, to take on the Oakland Roots at 4:00. Next week, we will have on the show RIFC President David Peart to discuss all things RIFC, new stadium, many other things. I believe there's going to be some information coming out leading up to that interview, so we'll cover all that. So make sure you tune in next week. We'll have David Peart on the show, and potentially we're going to start our podcast back up where we potentially we'll have their RFC's kind of fans. They have their own podcast, so they've
cool.
asked to come on our show. So
yeah, excellent. No, that's great. And even if you're not a soccer fan, just the fact that the Tidewater Standing Restaurant, stadium is opening up May 3rd. It's not just soccer. I do know that they're bringing something in late April with kids soccer events. They're bringing in women's rugby. So I'd like to ask David about all the things that are coming into the
there's
stadium
a mention
as well.
of concerts and people being able to pull their boats up to the shore and listen. So
even if you're not a soccer fan, just what's going to be happening down at basically across the street from Apex, down in Tidewater Landing should be a great listen, and I'm excited about that. So all right, last night at the AMP, the former Dunkin' Donuts Center, the former Civic Center, at the AMP, goaltender Brandon Bussey stopped all 23 shots for his 5th shutout of the season, helping the Providence Bruins blank the Charlotte Checkers 4-0. Forwards Riley Tuft and Tyler Pitlick each posted a goal and an assist. Don's Lockmalis recorded his first career point in his professional debut. The PBs have clinched the playoff spot with 6 games remaining. They currently sit in 4th place with 81 points, but they're just 1 point behind Charlotte and Scranton, who are tied with 82 points. Hershey sits alone in 1st with 87 points.
After starting the season at home 1-1 with 1 rainout, the Woo Sox took the Taylor Road this week, splitting their first 4 games in Jacksonville. They wrap up their trip with games today and tomorrow, then return home for 6 versus Columbus starting Tuesday night. Interesting thing about the schedule this season, they have every Monday off, which is kind of odd.
Yeah.
But Every series is going to be a 6-game series against one opponent all year long. We're going to have to keep an eye on. We'll have the Marcelo Meyer and Roman Anthony watch, both produced during the spring season. I would imagine it's only a matter of time before one or both are called up in some way, shape, or form. So through 6 games, Meyer's hitting .240 with a .296 OBP, .776 OPS, slugging 2 home runs with 8 RBIs. Roman Anthony's hitting .200 with a .429 OBP, 1.029 OPS, while also hitting 2 home runs, driving in 4. Both players have struck out 8 times. Mayer has drawn 2 walks, while Anthony has drawn 8.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, right now there's really no place for them. In Boston, nobody's hurt yet. So over in NCAA hockey, I just got an update. That Monday off has been actually happening. I thought maybe last year. Apparently it's been going off on for last 3 years at the International League level. Probably helps with travel plans and everything. Probably just didn't pay close enough attention to these 6-game series, which is pretty wild.
Yeah.
It's coming in for 6. It's okay. So in NCAA hockey last week, we did a big breakdown of the tournament. We are down to the Frozen Four. In NCAA hockey last weekend, defending champion Denver got past number 1 Boston College by a score of 3-1. Western Michigan beat UMass Minutemen 2-1. It took overtime for Penn State to down UConn 3-2, and in another overtime game, BU defeated Cornell 3-2. This sets the stage for the Frozen Four, which is in St. Louis this year. This Thursday, coming up at 5 o'clock on ESPN2, Denver will play Western Michigan in the first semifinal. In the nightcap, BU will play the Cinderella, Penn State. Nobody really saw that one coming. In my opinion, look for a Denver-BU final next Saturday. Though I think BU should win. Denver's actually going for 3 championships in 4 years coming up, and they are the defending champion. And boy, they look good so far in the way they beat Providence and Boston College. So
yeah, in my guess, if I were a betting man, those are the 2 coaches that potentially could be coaching the Boston Bruins next season.
Yeah,
you heard it here first.
Okay,
just going to throw that out there.
The Chief seats.
And also a quick congratulations to Ryan Leonard from Boston College, who signed with the Capitals. He scored his first NHL goal last night in Washington in a win over the Chicago Blackhawks.
All right.
Congratulations to the former New England Patriots head coach Bill Parcells for being named to the Patriots Hall of Fame. Obviously, a little controversial figure around here after was it the '96 Super Bowl, where he had kind of already had a contract in place with the Jets to become their head coach. So
become the HC of the NYJ.
Yeah. So, but after all this time, he certainly, I think he deserves to be in there.
I wanted to ask you. Do you think?
Yeah.
No, we actually have a call. Let's go to the phone lines. And,
Why not?
Why not? Let's see who we got. Hello, you're in the cheap seats with Pat and Kevin.
Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Pat.
Hey, good morning, Moose. How's it going?
All right, yourself?
Not bad at all. What's on your mind?
Busy week in sports as usual.
Yes.
And I was going to bring up the subject, but I'd forgotten about that you just did, and that's they're not keeping Sacco for the Bruins.
Oh no,
let him go.
correct. Sacco's
There's
going.
one name that surfaced. Now, you guys mentioned a couple of college coaches. Is that correct?
Yeah. The coach of Denver, actually, and I've heard that rumor as well. I have not heard of the BU rumor, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Jay Pandolfo, he's the assistant coach in the Bruins.
Yeah.
He coached down in Providence.
So yeah,
well, I had one name that I heard earlier in the week. I'm not quite sure what sports show it was on. Is that the coach that was fired from the Flyers? Tortello, is that his name?
John Tortorella.
Tortorella.
And Moose, we're the only sports show in town anyway. But,
Right.
But I suppose there are some others out there.
How
But
silly is he?
yeah, but Tortorella, I don't think he comes to Boston.
Everywhere he ends up leaving, it's almost like nothing good comes out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be fun to talk about for sure. I mean, he's the Don Cherry of the 21st century.
There you go.
But
and that's my point of.
He is a local guy. He's a Mass
local,
guy.
and he's experienced.
Right.
He did coach the U.S.
bringing
team
up
in the
somebody
Four
green,
Nations.
I don't know. Maybe they need a complete makeover, including somebody new from college, as you guys have mentioned.
Yeah, you got Pandolfo at least has connections to the organization. You got David Carl, who's at Denver, who has back-to-back U.S. World Junior gold medals.
It's unbelievable how we're talking about a team that is completely collapsed.
Yeah, right.
Well,
and that actually gives me. I'm sorry, Pat.
In 1 year. In 1 year.
And that's why I think, and you mentioned it, Moose, a complete haul over, go to, bring up the college coaches. Okay, instead of recycling Tortorella, and I would bring in Tortorella maybe if they were like right on the cusp of getting to the next level, going from the first round to the second round or second round to the cup. But now you're starting all over. They got rid of all their good players with the exception of three or four. You keep Pasta, you keep McAvoy, you keep Swayman, and maybe Lowry enters that conversation. Other than that,
he has to be.
Swayman put you between a rock and a hard place.
Well, he better rededicate himself, or
and I don't like it. I think it's a very bad position that they've actually put themselves into.
Right.
And now you're, so to speak, one word, you're stuck with them.
Yep.
They got to get younger. I think bringing in a college coach. I mean, you got to remember David Carl, who's at Denver. The coach prior to him at Denver was Jim Montgomery.
Right.
Yeah. So he went from the college ranks, and then he went up to the pro ranks, and he's obviously had some success there. And
he's younger too. I think
he was a scapegoat.
The Blues have won 30s.
He's in his 30s.
Yeah, mid-30s.
So.
St. Louis has won 12 straight.
Yeah. The Blues are good.
Ever since they put Jabu in the locker room.
Like that. No, but anyway, it's just an incredible complete collapse.
Yep.
10
in a row.
Still can't get used to it, guys. I can't get used to it.
They haven't been in this position since 1997. This late in the season,
we're talking 28 years ago.
Exactly.
So, I like what I'm seeing. I want the highest draft pick we could possibly get.
Yeah,
so,
I agree with Pat.
We're sitting at 4 right now.
Yeah.
And quickly to the Sox. Nice 3 wins there. It's a good way to start off. Home opener, always good.
Yep.
Kind of a little scary and freaky in the 9th inning.
Yep.
Campbell's got to learn how to play second base.
He'll be fine.
I hope so, because he really looked lost out there. He looked, on the pop-up, which they scored so generously a hit, which was an error all day, right? And that grounder, there was, it was right in his glove, the double play. I said, what are you doing? But
he'll be fine.
You could also say Cassis needs to learn how to play first base. I mean, he dropped a story, makes a great play at short, turns and fires, and he drops.
Game, Kevin, you rate players on defense from 1 to 4.
Oh yeah. He's
a 4.
Yeah. So.
He's a 4. He doesn't dive for plays, guys. He flops.
Right.
Doesn't know what a dive is. He just falls down.
Yep. All right, good stuff. All right.
Anyway, okay, guys.
All right, Moose. All right, we'll talk soon.
The show,
Thank you.
And I'll be listening. And go Sox.
Go Sox. All right, the Mighty Moose
day,
here.
guys.
You too. The Mighty Moose here joining us in the cheap seats here on WOON 99.5 FM, 1240 AM, WoodSoccerRadio.com. I just want to finish up the thought before we go to our first break on Parcells. He was responsible for the draft that brought in, Bruschi and McGinnis and Vinatieri, and though he cut Troy Brown, he put him back on the team, and all those guys that ended up being the cornerstones of the dynasty for the Patriots, coming, in the early 2000s, obviously. Obviously not Brady, but many of the other cornerstones. He brought them to he rescued them, him and Kraft, from going to St. Louis.
He did, but he left because he didn't have the control. He wasn't
shop for the groceries.
He wasn't making those picks.
Right.
I mean, he probably had some influence
I'm sure he had influence.
but
he kept them. He didn't cut them.
Oh, true. I mean, you're not going to cut Willie McGinnis, right?
Well, exactly. You would think not. No, we now.
But just to getting them to where they were. I mean, you still have to coach X's and O's, and
right.
He's obviously one of the best to do it. So yeah, he's deserving. For sure, to be in the Patriots Hall of Fame, and I think it's a long time overdue. And
he's in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
so
makes sense.
It's he did bring him. People will point to his record I think he's one game over 500. He's right at 500 with the Patriots. But I think just the legitimacy he brought to the team. And people always go back to Belichick, back to 2000. I go back to Parcells. Back in '93.
That's where it started.
That's where it started. And then the little bridge with Pete Carroll. But the Pats were still relevant then. The expectations were high under Pete Carroll. They just underperformed with Bledsoe at the helm, at quarterback. So it's been since '93 that the Patriots have really been relevant. They haven't been this irrelevant in a way since before Parcells came aboard. So, all right. So that's my thoughts. We're gonna go to our first break. When we come back, we got more local stuff that we'll get to. But when we come back, Pat had the chance to speak with Associate Athletic Director Tristan Hobbs to discuss the new Bryant's men's basketball coach Jamie and Christian. So we'll hear that interview when we come back right after these messages in the cheap seats with Pat and Kevin here on 1240 AM, 99.5 FM, and OneSocketRadio.com.
ON 1240.
The latest Buick and GMC models are available at Tasker Buick GMC in Woonsocket. Buick Encore, Envision, Enclave, and Envista are on the lot waiting for you to take one for a test drive. New GMC crossovers, SUVs, as well as trucks and vans are also available. Thinking of a pre-owned vehicle? Tasker Buick GMC has more than 900 in stock, many under $15,000. Visit online, TaskerBuickGMC.com, or stop into 55 Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. Tasker Buick GMC, you will be satisfied. And remember, there are no tariffs on the vehicles in stock at Tasker Buick GMC. Woonsocket Door Sales carries an excellent variety of doors to complement your residence or business, including the LiftMaster security doors that provide you with extra protection against theft. These doors feature a special security ID code to further safeguard your home, business, or valuables in your garage. Remember, an attractive door complements the appearance of your home or business. Woonsocket Door Sales for installation, parts, and repairs. Woonsocket Door Sales, 1 Biltmore Avenue, Cumberland. Call them 767-3448.
Don't look now, but spring is right around the corner. Get out those golf clubs and head over to Lewis Quistit Golf Club, located right in the city of North Providence. Lewis Quistit offers a stunning 9-hole course designed by U.S. Open champion Ken Venturi. Whether you're looking for a fun, challenging round of golf or just a relaxing day surrounded by rolling hills, oak trees, natural wetlands, this is the perfect spot. With tee times available 7 days a week, fantastic court conditions, and a welcoming atmosphere both for members and the public, Lewis Quistit is a place to be. And after you're around, don't miss out on great food and drinks at the Pub on One, complete with a scenic golf course view. Contact Lewis Quistit Golf Club at www.lewisquisitgc.com or by calling 401-353-1620.
When disaster strikes, trust the experts at ServiceMaster by Gilmore. From water and fire restoration to mold remediation and emergency cleanup, we've been restoring peace of mind for over 40 years, now proudly serving all areas, including our newest service location in Rhode Island. No job is too big or too small. Day or night, we're here for you. Call ServiceMaster by Gilmore at 1-800-783-0552 or visit us at the web at www.svmgilmore.com. Restoration done right every time.
ON Radio.
And welcome back to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. As previously mentioned, Pat had the chance to sit down yesterday with Associate Athletic Director Tristan Hobbs to discuss the new Bryant men's basketball coach, Jamie and Christian. And we're going to hear that interview now.
All right, Pat Holland here, joined by Tristan Hobbs, who is the Associate Athletic Director for Communications at Bryant University. He covers the men's basketball, field hockey, and baseball program. Tristan, appreciate you joining me tonight. I know you're traveling this weekend, so appreciate you jumping on the phone and taking this interview with me.
Absolutely. It's an exciting time to be a Bulldog.
Yeah, so last time we talked, I believe it was the America East tournament was just about starting, and obviously Bryant basketball coming off of a successful season, finishing as the regular season champions and the tournament champions of the American East Conference. Huge win over Maine to win that tournament.
moving on to the NCAA's, which is obviously huge for a program like Bryant. You go on to face a tough team in Michigan State, who was the 2 seed, and I thought you played them extremely tough that first half, and then eventually it just seemed like you guys, ran out of gas, and eventually lose. But again, Michigan State goes on to the Elite Eight, losing to Auburn, who was a number 1 seed. They're in the Final Four now, so obviously a successful season. You find out now Phil Martelli Jr., I believe on March 26th, he announced that he was taking the head coaching position at Virginia Commonwealth University after 7 seasons at Bryant, I believe 2 as the head coach. And then today, brings us up to today where Bryant announces they've signed Jamie and Christian as their 10th head coach at the university. So give me a little bit of background. Obviously, you can touch base on the season, and then a lot's happened over maybe that's 3 weeks. So give me a little bit. Obviously, you can talk a little bit about the end of the season and what that meant to the program, and then give me a little bit of background on Coach Christian and what he brings to the table.
Yeah, I mean, what an end of the year it was. Obviously, it's super special to be able to win a championship. This group talked a lot about what their goals were, what their focus was from the first time they got together in June. A lot of guys that came back, a lot of older guys that came back that wanted to do something special, and they were able to accomplish those goals, which is really, really incredible to watch a group of young men put their individual goals aside for the team goal. They played as a team, really played unbelievable basketball down the stretch, the last 5-6 games of the season, played unbelievable defense, and really just it was a joy to cover. It was a joy to be around, and obviously for our school, what a moment to be able to get your name called on Selection Sunday, and then be able to compete in the NCAA tournament against a blue blood program like Michigan State on the biggest stage. Obviously, such a cool opportunity for our guys. And yeah, we live in a world where success sometimes leads to change. And obviously an unbelievable opportunity for Coach Martelli and his family, and the coaching staff that he's taken with him to VCU to get an opportunity to coach at the A-10 level, which is one of the premier leagues in college basketball. And now for us, you look at it, and Jamie and Christian starts a new era for us. And he talked a lot about it today in his press conference about we're not defending anything. It's a chance to go out, write our new story, write our story, write the next chapter of Bryant basketball. We're excited about Coach Christian, his background, his plans, his goals, his vision for this program, and a lot's been talked about. We're not rebuilding here. This is a program that's had a lot of success the last 5 years, 97 wins, which is the third most of any team in New England the last 5 years. 3 conference championship game appearances, 2 titles in those 5 years. This is not a program that needs to be rebuilt. This is a program that is going to be continuing to take the rise in terms of mid-major programs.
Yeah, in just looking into it a little bit, I mean, obviously his coaching, he spent time at George Washington, Siena, I believe, Mount St. Mary's as well, which was his alma mater where he played. But to see that he coached at VCU under Shaka Smart back in 2012, I'm sure that that's rubbed off on him. I did read some stats. I don't have them in front of me, but I believe maybe it was at Siena where he took them in some of the defensive stats where they went from ranked high 300s in turnover caused to in the top 50 after one season. Just speaks volumes to that Shaka Smart defensive style of coaching. So I'm sure he's going to bring his own element to Bryant basketball. I think 3-point shooting too, again, was another stat that he took them from, they were out in the 200, ranked 200 and brought them into the top 50. It certainly seems like a step in the right direction for the next step. Did he talk about the type of player he's looking to bring in? I'm sure he has a lot of work to do, right? Coming in now, trying to catch up, really, right? Coming back from Italy, right? He's over in Italy in the professional league.
Correct. Yeah. No, he's. I mean, incredible career so far. He started as, I believe, one of the youngest head coaches in college basketball. He was hired at 29 years old to be head coach at Mount St. Mary's back in 2012. He was there for 6 years. Went to 2 NCAA tournaments. Won a first 4 game. Had a lot of success, and a lot of us thought his teams at Mount St. Mary's. They were the early stages of the portal. He was recruiting guys that would play at Mount St. Mary's for a year or two, and then they would transfer to big-time programs. So he's been through this. He's recruited good players. Jalen Pickett, a guy that he recruited at Siena, who played for him for his lone season at Siena, just had a triple-double the other night for the Nuggets.
Sure.
He's recruited high-level players. And obviously, his last 3 years of college coaching before his trip in Italy, his time in Italy, was at George Washington in the A-10.
Yep.
And he's had 2 great years in Italy with Trieste, his professional team. They won the A2 championship last year, which qualified them back into the top league, the Premier A league in Italy, one of the best professional basketball leagues in the world. And he's had an unbelievable season. Has his team in 6th place right now. They're right there in top 5 in defensive and offensive efficiency. He's looking for ball movement. He wants guys to be able to move the ball, play as a team, play as one. Obviously, when he was at Mount, his defense was considered to be mayhem. They called it kind of similar to Shaka Smart's defensive style.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, playing against Mount St. Mary's as any CFOs back in those 6 years, it was really difficult to play against. But he's got some work to do. We got a good group of guys coming back that are committed to come back to us. Devin Williams, Ja'Kai Robinson, Aaron Davis. He's got some building blocks, but obviously we live in a world where you got to go out and hit the portal. He talked about it today. We could see an influx of European guys coming into Bryant now with his ties over in Italy. So obviously it's you never want to rush through this process.
Sure.
You want to be thorough. You want to make sure that you're getting the right type of player. I think every coach has talked about this. I know Coach Martelli talked about it a lot. You don't want to just go in there and find the best player. You want to go in there and find the players that fit the style that you want to play, that fit the style of Bryant University. And I'm excited about what he'll be able to do. Obviously, he's got to get together a staff, get those guys going, and you got a couple weeks. These guys that are here that are on campus, and then you get into May, and then graduation, and then June, and you start it all over again. It's an exciting time. I know he's jacked up. I know we're jacked up. So it's a great time to kind of be around our program. It's obviously an exciting time in Smithfield.
Yeah, and I think, and you bring up a good point. It's not. We kind of talked a little bit briefly before this. Sometimes it's not all about the X's and O's anymore, right? You have to have a coach that knows how to come in and navigate this portal system that we live in. And given the fact that he has that ability because he's already coached at the other, the A10 level where, you got guys coming in and they're looking to go to what's the next step from here? And he's had to deal with it. I think that obviously is a key component to any coach that you're going to have now in the college level. That doesn't have a huge name, right? You got the Rick Pitino's and the guys who have been, they're legends, right? In their name just brings these players to them, and they don't have to get in there and dive in and find the right fit. It's the top always rises to the cream always rises to the top, as they say, right? But
but so much of it is relationships.
Sure.
And I think that's one thing that obviously you look at it in Coach Martelli and his staff. They talked a lot about relationships, and just because they're gone doesn't mean that that's no longer the case. They're absolutely right, and I think that Coach Christian understands that as well. That so much of this is about relationships. It's about being able to build trust with these young men. that have had. We had a lot of guys last year on our program. They have if you sat down and talked to each of those guys about their journey, about things that they've had to endure and go through, you'd be amazed that they're able to still be here right now in terms of being able to play at the highest level of college basketball. But we gave them an opportunity. We put our trust in them. They trusted us. And I think that's going to continue with Coach Christian and his staff. You got to be able to build relationships with these kids. They have to trust you. You have to earn that trust, and that's how you kind of build programs. And I'm excited for what he's able to do here at Bryant.
No, that's great, and it is unique too, because you do bring up, like, you could see an influx of European players because of that relationship that he's been able to establish over there. And we know that, you know, European players love to come over here. Like, they want to come over here to get the education and play at the top level, which, you know, basketball is still, you know, over here it's considered elite, as opposed to, I mean, I think these other countries are catching up, but it's still like, when you want to go play for the best, it's over in the U.S. So that's great. A couple other questions, and I'll let you go. So I appreciated you. I mean, I had the opportunity to come out and watch the U-Albany game, which was just a fantastic game, and just the environment itself was really electric over there. So you guys are definitely establishing, you know, and I went to UMass back in the 90s, so that type of feeling, you know, of going to the UMass games, you know, I could sense that there's a sense of unity and community on the Bryant campus, which is, you know, sports definitely draws that out, but basketball is probably the one thing that does the most, right? You're in this close-knit community inside these arenas, shoulder to shoulder, rooting on, you know, your university. You know, obviously that's been growing over the last few years, and I would suspect that that'll continue to grow. You know, so you guys have done a great job of that from an athletic standpoint. So I will let you go on that, because I know you got stuff to do, and I appreciate you taking the time. And we'd love to have you back on our show anytime you want to talk about anything, any sport. You know, we're right up the street from Smithfield, so we do put a lot of stake in Bryant athletics, and we're reporting on as much as we can when we hear about it. Certainly basketball. I think the baseball team too. Kevin's a big baseball guy, and I know you guys had a video that went viral a couple weeks back of your catcher making an outstanding play and then throwing a kid out at second that I was all over. So
yeah, that was an incredible play.
Yeah, good stuff all around, and besides that, it is a premier academic institution, right? Which goes, you know, outside of the athletics. I mean, if you're going to go to a school and play a sport, Bryant is a great institution to go to from an academic standpoint too. So, Tristan, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're traveling this weekend, and I know Kevin appreciated you jumping on with me as well, and we'll look forward to having you on again soon.
Yeah, I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to come on and speak about this. And obviously, we're super excited. It's crazy. I mean, November's going to be here before we know it.
Right.
And the chase is going to be rocking once again. So we're excited.
All right, great. Well, thank you again, Tristan Hobbs, the Associate Athletic Director of Communications at Bryant University. Looking forward to next season, and maybe we can get Coach Christian on our show as well.
Sounds great.
Perfect. Thanks, Tristan.
Have a great day.
Okay, that was Pat with Associate Athletic Director Tristan Hobbs. Still trying to press the buttons. Couple quick takeaways. I loved hearing what he had to say about Martelli leaving and the relationship that they had. He completely respected the decision. He understands it's kind of like that stepping stone, and it really seemed like he, wishing him well. No animosity at all with him leaving the Bryant program. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, he mentioned that, and we talked a little bit before about that. Like this all happened organically, and for Coach Martelli Jr., it's like the next step in his progression as a coach, right? He very tremendously successful at Bryant. Now the next step for him is at obviously VCU in the A10, and and Bryant gets a from all things that I read about and hear about. It sounds like Coach Christian is a phenomenal replacement, if you will, to now bring them to the next level.
And Coach Christian has been to the NCAA tournament, so he knows what it's about. So, and then just lastly, I loved hearing just the excitement and the enthusiasm in Tristan's voice. Like he wasn't BSing you. This was legit. He's excited, and to me, it came across.
For sure.
Way?
Yeah, they're excited. They're excited, to see the progression and to get things going. And I think the players that are staying, there's tremendous excitement within there as well. So, yeah. Awesome. So, yeah.
All right. So when we come back, we're going to start diving into the Red Sox. We want to hear your thoughts. I mean, we're 8 games into the season, and they start off 1-0. Next thing you know, they're 1-4. Now they're 4-4. You have any thoughts on this Red Sox season? Give us a call, 401-766-1240 on 99.5 FM, 1240 AM, WoonSocketRadio.com. Join us in the cheap seats right after this.
Your station for news and sports, ON 1240.
The latest Buick and GMC models are available at Tasca Buick GMC in Woonsocket. Buick Encore, Envision, Enclave, and Envista are on the lot waiting for you to take one for a test drive. New GMC crossovers, SUVs, as well as trucks and vans are also available. Thinking of a pre-owned vehicle? Tasca Buick GMC has more than 900 in stock, many under $15,000. Visit online, TascaBuickGMC.com, or stop into 55 Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. Tasca Buick GMC, you will be satisfied. And remember, there are no tariffs on the vehicles in stock at Tasca Buick GMC.
When you're ill and need same-day care, remember North Smithfield Urgent Care and Lincoln Urgent Care for affordable and accessible care. You'll always be seen by a board-certified physician who will assess the problem and make you feel safe and reassured. Check their websites for convenient patient and medical forms, which you may fill out before the visit. North Smithfield Urgent Care, 594 Great Road, North Smithfield, 768-3400. And Lincoln Urgent Care, 2 Wake Robin Road, Lincoln, 333-9595.
When you visit their website at MichaudAutobody.com, you'll see some very interesting information, including frequently asked questions about coverage if you're not at fault, regulations about replacement cost, or having to visit an insurer's claim center. Know the law and your rights. You'll also see a photo gallery of Michaud's extra clean facility. It has to be to accommodate the requirements of sensitive paint textures and applications. Michaud's Auto Body is a gold-class repair facility located at 430 Privilege Street, Woonsocket, 769-1983.
The world-class distributor of all things electrical is Electrical Wholesalers. They are a full-service electrical distributor with branches throughout Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire. Locally, they're at 113 Clinton Street next to KFC here in Woonsocket, with other locations in Cranston and Franklin, Massachusetts. Electrical Wholesalers provides the highest quality service to electrical contractors as well as residential, commercial, and industrial customers. Electrical Wholesalers is open Monday through Friday, 7 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. Visit ew-ne.com. Electrical Wholesalers.
And welcome back to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. Great interview, Pat. Thank you again. Great enthusiasm. I'm kind of glad we jumped on board with the Bryant thing. And there was just one question you didn't ask, Pat, and I guess I should have asked to ask him the 4-team Rhode Island tournament between Brown, Bryant, PC, and URI. But we'll have them on again.
Yeah, we'll get there. I'm sure they'd love it from their perspective.
Them and Brown would love it. URI probably wouldn't mind it, and PC would not like it. But we've talked that to death. Let's jump in onto the Red Sox. All right. How do you want to start? You want to start with the contracts signings of Crochet and Campbell?
Yeah.
Let's start there. If you got any thoughts on the Red Sox, either the season or the contract or where they're going, Alex Cora, anything, give us a call, 401-766-1240. Interesting start to the season. I was shocked by the Crochet signing after I heard, we're not talking.
Yeah. I mean, he I mean, like everyone, right? You come out of spring training and that's the standard, right? Hey, we didn't get anything done during spring training.
Right.
We're not talking about it during the season, and then shortly after his first start, they lock him up, which
wasn't even that great of a start. So it's not like they cared either way how that start went. It was okay.
I think they know what they got in them, and I think it was a good deal. I think it's a good deal for both. Certainly a great deal for the Red Sox.
Right.
At some point, he might say, hey, I left some money on the table, but they basically buy out 2 years of arbitration essentially. So they're paying him a little bit up front. He'll get paid more up front.
A lot of upfront money.
And so it's a win-win for everyone, and they lock him up, and I think they have maybe 2 years at the end.
Club options.
Club options. I was more surprised about the Campbell signing.
Right.
I didn't even know that was even being discussed or.
Well, the interesting thing about the Campbell signing is he was under team control. I had heard for 6 years.
6 years, yeah.
So, though that can get nasty, you saw what happened with Boston, Bruins with Swayman, things got nasty. You see what happens on the Red Sox front with Betts, with Lester, things get cranky. People get cranky, then you start lowballing and then different offers, things like that. The other thing that we don't know is he's 22, and he could have been sent down to Worcester, like Meyer and Anthony, at any point, and I'm assuming, this is an assumption on my part, when he goes to Worcester, it's a prorated salary down there. I'm sure he's not making what he's making at the MLB minimum at the time. So now he is locked up for X amount, 6 years, 8 years? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing 8.
It's 8 with two potential 10.
Right. Okay. And this is guaranteed money. One, he's going to stay in Boston now. So for you, Christian Campbell, he may have left a lot on the table in the future. But in the interim, he's secure. Again, who knows what his financial status is at home, but a 22-year-old that just guaranteed himself a stay in the majors because they are not going to send him to Worcester because that is now a guaranteed salary.
Correct.
And folks at home, I'm sure, like, woohoo, they get a couple bucks there coming in from him. So he's locked up. He seems happy. I'm not as concerned about his defense as Moose is.
No.
Again, he's 22. It'll come. It'll get better. And but I think it's great as long as he's doesn't have a hissy fit 3 or 4 years from now about signing this long-term contract as a 22-year-old.
Yeah, and obviously on the it's certainly a team-friendly contract.
Right.
I've listened to here and there about he's going to want to fire his agent in 4 years after this, but I'm sure not everyone is like that.
Right.
He's like, hey,
in a way, Brady wasn't like that when he was playing with the Patriots, especially the first part of his career.
I don't have to worry about 5-6 years and going to arbitration and that whole back and forth and then lowballing me because they still have control and and he might not be what they expect him to be, and then it's a contract in his favor.
Well, yeah,
so they're taking a huge gamble. I think it's an educated gamble. I think they like what they see. He's clearly he has to be one of the quickest prospects to come up. I mean, he's literally one
calendar year
to go from single A to the majors is
that's unheard of. That was done in the closest I've seen done is Bull Durham during the season.
Right.
He went from single A to the majors, and even then we said how unrealistic that was. So this was not as long as Bull Durham, fiction.
And by all accounts, I mean, outside of where he's going to fit in, and he's going to be a utility guy, right? He's going to play second. He's going to probably play an outfield position here and there when needed. His bat is outstanding.
Off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, I mean, he's batting 447, and I think he has, his bat.
Runs?
Yeah, two home runs. He has the longest home run hit so far this season.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I don't dive into the stats as much as you, and even was it Kean?
Kelleher.
Yeah, Kelleher, who's all over the. I mean, I'm looking at some of these stats, and I'm like, I know I know Kean would be all over these, but
I'm
launch
starting to come
angle, velo, and all that stuff.
I'm starting to come around on OPS. WAR was sort of explained to me, but I'm still not a huge fan of WAR. I am a whip for pitchers because that's easy for me to figure out.
And he's on a short list of I think it's they showed a stat where it was like him and Ted Williams were the only Red Sox.
Yeah, they have that many.
It's like 5 extra base hits in their first 5 games, or 8 in their first 5 games, and then the next pitch he hits a 2-run homer.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
and just pull up right now. Through 8 games, he's hitting .423 with a .515 OBP on base percentage. OPS 1.3. Not to be outdone, Willie Abreu hitting .500 to start the year.
621 OBP.
Yeah.
1,000 slugging. 1.62.
So
it.
And I guess he made a great catch yesterday. I was listening on the radio going to my son's game, and I guess he made a great catch in the field yesterday. And he is a Gold Glove right fielder. So, no, as far as the contracts, I think I'm very happy with the Red Sox. It seems like they did an about face on all of a sudden
on how they're going to handle the players.
So
so they're committed, which is good. And let's not forget, Abreu was a throw-in. On the trade for...
Was it Sale?
No, it was a catcher. No, he was from Houston.
Oh.
Vasquez.
Oh, Christian Vasquez. That's right.
Remember, everyone was upset because they traded him to Houston at the end. You got this guy Abreu. And now he turns into he's a Gold Glove right fielder last year. His bat is outstanding. But they're starting to put it. I said it. They came out a little bit. Obviously, came out slow, but the middle of their lineup. If they all start putting it together, it has to be one of the best in Major League Baseball.
And and the fact that they put up 13 runs, they've been scoring runs the last few games. They struggled down in Texas at one point. They were 1 for 24 with runners in scoring position. They weren't losing those games by a lot, so it wasn't all doom and gloom, especially opening series of the year. They hadn't even been home yet, but yeah, all right. So I'd like to do a little bit more with the Sox. I want to talk about Devers. I want to talk about Casas and some of the pitchers as well. If you have a thought on the Sox, positive, negative, baseball in general. I think have the Dodgers lost yet? Last I checked, they were 8-0. So if you have a thought on MLB, give us a call 401-766-1240 on 1240 AM. OneSoccerRadio.com also can be heard on 99.5 FM. We will be back right after this.
ON 1240.
When you visit State Line Services website, you'll see a wealth of information about them and the 20 kinds of specialties they offer, including cooling system maintenance, emission testing, exhaust systems, and computerized engine analysis. Because today's vehicles are a complicated piece of equipment with a network of sensors that monitor your vehicle's performance. In other words, you need an expert. State Line Service and Tire Center, 1209 Social Street, Woonsocket, at the State Line, 765-0146. New customers are welcome.
Are you looking to beautify your property this spring? Look to A.J. Moran for stonework patios, steps, walkways, plus retaining walls. Are you looking to beautify your home this spring? A.J. Moran can put veneer stone right on your house to have beautiful looking stone. And if that's not what you want, A.J. Moran can rebuild indoor fireplaces with veneer stone. It's real natural stone. Check out what they can do online, ajmoraninc.com. A.J. Moran.
If you're celebrating a major event, regardless of the reason, Michael's Meats of Cumberland can elevate your next meal from ordinary to extraordinary with meats so good your guests will ask you where you got them. Tell them, Michael's Meats. Michael's Meats is in the Walgreens parking lot on Mendon Road in Cumberland, just north of the Ciabro Plaza. They're open Monday through Saturday at 9 a.m., making your next meal truly special. Here's this week's specials at Michael's Meats.
And Michael's Meats has large bay scallops for just $7.99 a pound this week on special. Also at Michael's Meats, now taking Easter orders. So go grab your ham and your turkey and everything at Michael's Meats. Thank you, Rob, at Michael's Meats.
You have turkey for Easter?
I don't. Other people do. Ham, turkey.
That's weird.
Oh, we go to Rice Farm, but okay. Welcome back to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. I'm Kevin Callahan, along with my co-host Pat Holland. A busy sports week, but nothing more exciting than opening day Red Sox. So we'll keep the Red Sox talk going. We really haven't done that, deep dive that I think we're going to be doing all season.
More often, now that the season started, we'll be probably covering it every week, and we're not going to have to limit Moose's call time a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So we can talk more about it. So there was a conspiracy floating around Northern Rhode Island about Rafael Devers purposely striking out to basically as a temper tantrum. Any thoughts on this conspiracy theory? And let the record show that I am not necessarily a member of this conspiracy theory people, but I've heard it. Any thoughts on that, Pat?
No, you have to always step back and remember these guys they're professional athletes, right? They're not gonna like throw a tantrum and make themselves look bad on purpose.
Right. They'll throw a tantrum. Behind the
scenes, or even in he's certainly let it be known.
Right.
I did see an interview. We touched base a little bit about this. I think it was Kurt Schilling who's starting up a podcast over the next couple of weeks. And so he was doing like a live stream thing and just was answering questions. And he did bring up something that I thought was interesting, where he said, a lot of people don't understand how difficult it is to be a designated hitter when you haven't been one. Right? He's like, which is why there are only a handful of designated hitters who have been very successful. David Ortiz being one of them.
Edgar Martinez.
But not until his early 30s. So being later. To go from playing every day in the field to then go to a DH where you're only getting maybe 4 at-bats, usually.
Right.
Maybe 5.
Maybe 5, depending if you score.
But you're not
near the top of the lineup.
You're not in the game from a mental standpoint, right? There are things that you have to do. Like in Schilling, it said David was one of the guys who he'd be up in the clubhouse, he'd be watching video, he'd be in the batting cage, getting loose. And so there certainly has to be a transition for Devers. Now, does that mean you come out and you strike out 15, 16 times? No, but he's still rehabbing. I don't think he was in the greatest shape coming in.
Right. There's been reports of that.
So I think it's a combination of those couple of factors that have led him. And now his bat's coming around a little bit. He's starting to hit the ball hard.
Right.
So which is good.
Yeah.
It's all good stuff. And we're only 5 games in.
8 now.
8, whatever it is.
4-4. So, and he's starting to hit. He's actually 3 for his last 6.
Yeah.
After he started off the first 5 games.
Where did I get that?
I don't know where you got 5
8.
from.
8 games.
And just real interesting. And again, it's at the D3 baseball level.
Yeah.
And I won't say his name just in case, but it's nothing to be embarrassed about. But there's this career, I'm looking at stats right now, career 316 hitter on my son's team. Year 1, he hit 370, 4 home runs, 40 RBIs in 37 games, 51 hits. Playing left field. Year 2, they made him the DH. That's all he did all year. Hit 234. No home runs, 21 RBIs, only 29 hits. They put him back in left field this year, through about a little over halfway through the season. He's hitting 350 with 2 home runs, 22 RBIs. He's tied for last year's hit total already with another 17 games to go. You're right. I never thought much about it. Growing up, Yaz was a DH sometimes. Jim Rice was a DH sometimes. Mo Vaughn, first base DH. Take the day off. Go hit. What's the big deal? Apparently, it is a big deal.
There's certainly something to be said about it, and especially when you could probably dive into the stats, and you did a short.
That was a very short, small sample, right?
It's certainly there, right?
Right, exactly.
It's something more, and I said, like, everyone would go like, oh, it's easy. You get to be the DH. You get to hit. That's the best part of the game. You don't have to worry about fielding, and it's like, but yeah, that's great. But it's also you got to be able to stay in the game from a mind.
Yeah, it's all part of it. Yeah. It's all part of and I hate making excuses for these guys. And but I was not happy with Devers. I mean,
if this is August and we're in, then it's
an issue.
It's a much different conversation. But I think his bat's going to continue to come around. He's already shown signs where he's starting to really hit with pop.
Well, the other thing too is, all right, he's got his average up to 167. His on base percentage is 324. Like, his eye for balls and strikes hasn't left him. He was just swinging through the ball. and now it's making some good contact. Quietly, Tristan Casas up until yesterday was off to a terrible start, hitting just 194. You had mentioned not playing the best defense, and he said he wants to be that 40 home run guy. He said that in the offseason. So that's someone to keep an eye on. He's quirky. He's funny at times. He's annoying at times. But someone to be as quirky as him, and he turned down a contract extension, I believe, in the offseason.
Yep.
And so that'll be an interesting story to see how he progresses this year. He hasn't played a full season. There's been injuries, so I'd like to keep an eye on Tristan Casas as well. So, Pat, there is one other thing I do want to get to. It's not baseball related. We touch on it, and I swear at the end of every show we said we got to talk about this more. But it finally happened in hockey. Alex Ovechkin,
Yeah.
he tied Wayne Gretzky last night. 894 goals. Ovechkin did it in 1,486 games. Gretzky did it in 1,487 games. It's now I'm by no means calling Ovechkin the greatest hockey player ever. I still think that's Gretzky. I heard a great comment. I want to throw it out at you on one of the talking heads somewhere, locally or nationally. Who's I'll play it out the exact same way. Who's the hit leader in Major League Baseball?
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose, 4,000 whatever hits.
Not Rafael Devers.
Not Rafael Devers. No, not yet.
Not yet.
Who's the best player ever in Major League Baseball?
Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth.
Right. Or
Williams,
any of those guys.
DiMaggio,
Ted Williams, Ty Cobb.
By the time you get to Pete Rose, it's maybe, I don't even know if he's in the top 10. He might be once you get through everybody and some of the pitchers, but he's up there. The fact that Ovechkin was getting not hate, I think people like it overall, but like, well, he's not better than Gretzky. People are getting mad. Like, no. Who's the career goal leader? Well, it's going to be Alex Ovechkin once he gets one more. Who's the greatest hockey player of all time? It's Wayne Gretzky.
Right.
You might even jump into Bobby Orr, Gordie Howe, Mario Lemieux. You might even go down to Sidney Crosby, Pat Rocket Richard. It might be a while before you get to Ovechkin. So it's not a knock on Gretzky to say Ovechkin is the greatest goal scorer in the history of the game. It's just, wow. What an accomplishment for a record that most people thought.
I did think it was pretty cool. I mentioned it to you.
Oh, yeah, this is great.
That there was Chicago had pulled their goalie to try to tie the game up, and I believe they took a timeout. It was on an icing call, so because they took a timeout, I believe that Ovechkin could have got back on the ice at that point. Right. He was on the bench during the icing, but because they took a timeout, I believe he could have gotten back on the ice. The coach went over and talked to him, and he shook his head no, which means I don't want to break this record on an empty net goal.
Yeah.
So he ends up getting back in. I think they put Spencer Knight back in goal. And I mean, he legitimately got 8 additional shots off in the last minute and a half of that game with the goalie in. Yeah. So, and that's when Ryan Leonard scored his first goal. So I thought that was pretty cool too. But just to say, like, hey, I'm going to break the record. I know, he should. I think they still have 4 or 5 games left.
I know the Bruins have 6, so I'm going to put. I'll put.
You
the
would think
Capitals
he'll get a goal,
right?
I'm not going to break it this way.
Right.
Empty netter.
Even
with Gretzky in the house, Gretzky was there.
He's going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah, so he'll follow him, and he thinks it's only right. And I think I saw a cool interview with Gretzky where he said, I hope at some point Ovechkin is able to do this and pass the torch to whoever it might be if it ever gets there. Yeah. Like I Gordie did to me. Yeah. And that stuff. So that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. I mean, everything you've heard about Gretzky, class act, all the way through. So he's got a chance to do it tomorrow. I'm assuming that this game will be on TV tomorrow. It's a 12:30 game. It's down on the island.
Probably national.
Capitals Islanders. And the other thing too is like empty net goals. I heard that Gretzky and Ovechkin are tied at 54 empty net goals.
Yeah, it's amazing the stat. They showed it. I tried to take a picture of it, but it's like they both have 9 career seasons of 50 goals or more. It's like they're both relatively close on empty net goals.
Yes.
So it's and then within a game of each other on scoring.
and I'll have to look it up. And Ovechkin's just been extraordinarily consistent. Like, and I can't compare him to Henry Aaron. Like, always getting the 45 home runs for Aaron. Always getting Ovechkin. Always getting about 45 goals every year, 40 to 50, 52. But always very consistent. Where Gretzky did have his 92 goals.
Yeah, it's
one year, up and down. But again, not taking anything away from Gretzky. He is
you can't.
the greatest.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you took Gretzky, he would still have the most points in NHL history.
Taking away his goals.
If you took all the goals away.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is the best stat, I think, that you could ever.
That's wild.
It's like, take all the goals away, and I still lead the NHL in points.
From the lead, at the time, leading goal scorer.
Right.
Take all his goals away. And I agree. I did get a text message that Bobby Orr is the greatest hockey player of all time. I agree with that. He revolutionized the game. Would have loved to have seen how his career continued on past the age of 28.
Without the injuries.
But he revolutionized the game. Gretzky took it to a new level as well. Ovechkin has been extraordinarily consistent. So no, it's great. And some people may have made the argument like that Ovechkin didn't go on the ice for the empty netter because he wanted to do it at home. That's not it at all. They're on the island tomorrow in Long Island.
Yeah,
so
he's not going to not try to break it. But and I have a buddy who's down there. He's a season ticket holder for the Caps, and he selfishly was hoping that he doesn't do it till Thursday because he's like, I got my tickets for Thursday's game. I wanted to do it there. So
a couple weeks ago, there was hey, he could possibly do this in Boston.
Yeah.
Obviously came up a little bit short in Boston when they played.
It's like,
week.
we've been giving up 6-7 goals. Maybe if he scores them all.
And Bruins, as last count, have lost their last 10 in a row. Not in this position since 1997. Host Carolina tonight and go to Buffalo tomorrow if you need a little hockey fix. So, all right, that's just going to about do it here in the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. Don't forget the Frozen Four. Thursday at 5 and 8:30 on ESPN2. I'm sure Pat and I will be talking about that, previewing the championship game. We got the Final Four in basketball this weekend. I took Auburn at the beginning. What the heck? I'll stay with them.
I'll take Duke.
Everyone's saying Duke. I would have gone with Bryant because of our relationship. But
I did take Bryant over Michigan State.
Yeah, I did too.
But,
let the record show that.
Yes.
Oh well, that's only a couple points I lost. So, all right, big week coming up for the Red Sox as well. Weather permitting. See how they do in the cold weather up north. They've had nothing but beautiful weather from Florida to Texas to Baltimore is in the 80s. To yesterday was I think it hit 70.
Yeah.
We'll see how they do in the cold weather. Thank you, the listeners and our sponsors for joining us in the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. We will be back next week right here on 1240 AM, 99.5 FM, OneSocketRadio.com. We hope you have a great weekend.